I think we called it HoB TV, didn't we, Will?
Yeah.
Welcome along, Will.
Thank you, Jack. Good to be back.
We haven't actually decided a name for this campaign, so yay to my future self, whatever this is called. That's what it is. We have decided to start these videos, but before we go into that, just going to make a little rule. We're not going to say the C word. We've got a little swear jar, as it were.
C word?
Yeah. Coronavirus or COVID.
Oh, I'm just checking.
We're not going to. Yes, we're not going to say those two words or pandemic. We'll try all three. Okay. Because we're all. That's why we didn't do videos over the lockdown period, because we were all dealing with that, and we didn't want to inundate you with yet more. Oh, we're affected by this. We're affected by that because of this virus. We were all dealing with it, so we knew. Bear with me here. This will make sense. We knew you knew we were getting on with it, and we knew you knew we knew you would know that we were getting on with it. That didn't make sense. Anyway, you guys knew we were helping people.
Yeah.
And we're back to tell you how we did that, and then maybe a little glimpse into the future. But we're going to do these videos on a regular basis now, because we're coming out of that. We're doing more stuff. There's fundraising going on. There's events happening. Although all... Compliant, yes, thank you. It's really difficult. So, Will, take us back. March the 23rd. Bojo was on the telly.
Yeah.
Can't go outside. What happened?
Well, goodness gracious me. Well, you'll know with House of Bread and Cafe 43. What was the essence of Cafe 43? Come and be sociable. Come and gather. Come and mix. In one day, the shutters came down and we stopped. And we had to work out very, very quickly how to adapt and overcome, one of our mottos. How could we go from you all coming here to us going to you?
That's what we decided to do.
Yeah.
We decided to take our
literally
food to the people who
overnight.
need it.
And within a matter of hours, or it feels like a matter of hours, having made that decision, we got in contact, the rugby club, Mark Carter, the captain, and basically offered us Uber HoB. He offered us...
Hobbaroo.
Okay, Hobbaroo.
That's what we went for.
Yeah, that's better. Basically offered us a group of men and women who would come, pick up the bags and deliver them.
And we needed that help, didn't we?
Yeah,
because, as we all know, stuff went sideways. Nobody could get anything from the supermarkets. People suddenly had to isolate because of underlying health conditions. People couldn't go outside anyway. You could only go outside for an hour. We, at one point at the very beginning, we were, and we only say this number to show you how busy it was, not to show off or anything. We were giving out 100 delivery boxes a day, 7 days a week for the first couple of weeks. It very quickly tailed off as food came back on the shelves and all that kind of thing. But yeah, right at the very beginning, it got really, really intense. And without, this will be a recurring theme, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, without the Stafford community, we would have absolutely imploded.
I mean, we knew we were well known, we knew we were well connected, but my goodness, did that paid huge dividends.
And what a moment, when people are really, really struggling, to have the presence of mind to think about others. That's what we dream of as an organisation. That's why we're here, and that's what we hope these videos create in the community, that people think about other people who are less fortunate than themselves, especially at a time where people were thinking about people who were maybe even more fortunate than themselves, because we were all in such a mess. It was absolutely incredible to see that support, and it didn't just come from people volunteering to deliver stuff. It also came with the food. Food donations, organisations and sadly retail outlets that were having to close. We had an enormous quantity of food coming in. That would have gone out of date during the lockdown
so we had
period.
to manage all of the import as well of all of that, as well as the distribution out. So for a couple of weeks it was hand to mouth, every hand to the pump, just to get through that. But it was extraordinary, and it's actually maintained a lot of that level, because we've now linked up with a lot more supermarkets, even our friends of Waitrose, M&S, Asda, Lidl, Aldi.
Name them all,
Tesco. Not only have they stepped up, but their customers have also stepped
massively
up. So as things began to unpick a little bit, and people were able to get out more, what we realised, of course, the demand, particularly around family provision, was increasing significantly.
And what we discovered was that was the easy bit. Going from, in context, going from Cafe 43 and House of Bread being sociable to suddenly going to HoB and getting the food to you. That sounds like a good strapline.
Yeah.
What we discovered was that was the easy bit. We got the food bank took a real hit because there wasn't any food on the shelves to donate, but like Will said, a lot of outlets gave us their food, and then as soon as the shelves started to fill in the supermarkets, people were donating. The food bank has never been
We've
bigger
had stock
now.
of toilet roll at one stage.
Yeah, yes, and the food bank has never been fuller now, but that we're not resting on our laurels, because what we've discovered, actually the hard bit is coming out of it. The impact of furlough, the impact of people losing their jobs, the impact of children being at home for longer, even though they're going back to school now, they were at home for a long time, really had an impact on a lot of people who would never have dreamed of struggling, and suddenly loads of extra people were on the breadline.
Yeah, and we always say we support people who are vulnerable and homeless, and that vulnerable category just exploded.
It expanded exponentially.
It really did. So to be able to fill that void with both the capacity to deliver and the wherewithal to deliver was quite a remarkable vision for us to come in day out with more and more people being able to deliver things, lorries turning up with pallets of food. It was quite overwhelming on a lot of occasions, wasn't it?
And so humbling to see the absolute wealth of generosity coming from the Stafford community. I mean, that brings us up to where we are now.
Yeah.
We're slowly coming out of that, although there's stuff on the horizon, who knows what's going to happen down the line. Now we're beginning to have a bit more space to breathe, and we've got time to tell you about what actually we did behind the scenes that was going on while we were giving out food, because we didn't sit back and rest on our laurels. We took a very proactive approach, Will.
We did, and some of the things we're going to talk about are really quite visionary for House of Bread in terms of actually reaching out into the community. So we'll talk to you about the bread line, a telephone support line. We'll talk to you about the development of our caseworkers, our partners that we're working with. So in a weird way, that we've used this experience, which has been really tough on everybody, to look at ways of adding hugely beneficial supports to our services, because the vulnerable are still there, the homeless are still there. Current strategies around that are complicated.
I think we should point out at this point that there was a great reaction. The homeless community were all put up in accommodation
so
at
one
point. That was fantastic. So a big shout out to the council on that one.
It was really, and it was tough for them, difficult, and we were grateful to be able to help them and support them, especially probation services.
Because there was worrying times. I mean, we'll go on to talk about this, or maybe I'll just talk about it now. We're still not open at the cafe because there are a lot of, obviously, the majority of people who use our service are very, very vulnerable, have a lot of underlying health conditions. Somebody during the lockdown period in the homeless community tested positive. So we can't just simply now, pretend that we're a normal cafe like a lot of other cafes and go, right, everybody come in. We have to really take some proper precautions. We haven't stopped giving out food. We're still giving out as much as we were. It's just handing out food rather than people coming in and sitting down.
And we've had to think about our volunteers, because again, we've got a lot of volunteers who have underlying health issues and so forth. So we've had to be fully compliant. We've got all our PPE. Thanks very much to the anonymous people turning up with masks when we needed it, and visors and so forth. So we've had to think very carefully about how we manage through the process.
And this was our 10th year. This was going to be a huge year for us, with lots of celebrations, lots of events throughout the year. But we've used this to take a real step up. House of Bread has gone into this global thing and come out smarter. We've come out
working smarter,
fighting.
I think.
We've come out really prepared to take a big step up in what we offer. There's going to be a lot of volunteers and people who work here are panicking now watching this going, what have we done?
Because you can do an awful lot of working from home, we've discovered.
Yes. So yes, we haven't done one of these videos for a long time. In fact, when we did this, I messed up and didn't record the audio, so we've done it again, which is beneficial for you because we stuttered and slurred and all sorts, and Will kept saying the words he wasn't meant to, so you got away with it this time round.
I think I still owe you 10 quid.
We've got so much to share with you over the next few weeks. Thank you so much to everybody who supported us. The Stafford community, like I said, have just been incredible. Amazing. Please keep an eye out on. We're going to post a lot more on Facebook because we kind of really shrunk down our socials because it was just the same thing over and over and over again. But now we're back up. There's lots of other things happening. Keep an eye out on all your pipes: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Type House of Bread into Google. You found this, so clearly you know what you're doing. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for bearing with us. I'm sorry if this is a long video. We will see you next time. Goodbye. We've got to get all this into there, Mr. Tetris. So, what do we reckon about?
Halfway? No.
Oh, hopefully not halfway. Are we going to get it all in? The pan shot, here it comes. Oh, look at that. With a little bit of room to spare, I think. Hang on. Didn't we bring Trevor with us? Trevor?